Hey guys, Erica here from Hive 49RC. Welcome back to another CNC project. Well, not really another one, but a continuation of the last video. I took about a week off and did some thinking just to kind of relax a little bit, and then got back to work on the wheels this past weekend. It's now Monday, and I made some good progress. I got the rings all figured out. Didn't film any of it just because I wanted to do it and get it done. They're not completely finished, but I'll explain that in a minute. Also did some experimenting with tapping. Broke both the taps. But I think I might be close, so I've got 2 more on order. They should be here in another day or 2. So while we wait for those, I'm just going to finish up the rings and then we'll move on to tapping, I guess. Let's take a look at what I've got for the rings. I left my setup here from this morning just for sake of explanation. Basically, I've got a piece of Delrin. I believe it's Delrin. Don't think it's wrench shape, but Delrin underneath there. Held down on a piece of aluminum stock. Had to go buy more this morning, which was kind of annoying, so I didn't end up having enough. But basically the first step was to drill the small holes for the screws around the outside edge. Second program did the recesses for them. It's kind of hard to see them. So you can see that the holes are actually recessed along with the mounting holes for the screws that you see there. And then step 3 was to basically thickness this, because this is a little bit thinner than the rest. This is 1/8 and this is 0.1. So just took it down with a 1/2 end mill real quick. And then after that, I come in with a 3/16 and do the edges, the inside and outside. And after that, the chamfering. So all that's left to do now really is just to break these out of here, or cut them out or something. And then I'll sand the outside edges on the belt sander and the inside tabs off with a Dremel. And then they'll be good to go on the wheels. All the beadlock rings are done. 2 of them I actually did the other day as like tests, and then the other 6 I did today. Basically, a course of action was cut them out using a Dremel cutoff wheel, and then took them over here to the belt grinder my dad built, and start off with a probably 30, went up to 120, and then finished them off with a 400, and that gave a pretty similar finish to the machined finish actually on the edges. So as you can see, it's pretty similar finish, pretty similar luster. They look real nice. And then I basically brought it over here, used a little table on top of my Dremel, clamped in the vise, and started off with a coarse sanding drum, went on to fine, basically to take down the little tabs that were still inside the aluminum rings. And yeah, I got a whole stack of them, and they look super good. I'm really, really pleased with them. Good morning, folks. It's another day in the shop. Today's goals are to make a tapping block, a miniature tap handle, and get all the holes drilled in the wheels. And you can kind of see where this is going. I've decided not to machine tap the wheels because I'm kind of on a time crunch. I want to get them done by the Autism Awareness Crawl next weekend. And I need this weekend to work on making the jig and machining the outside of the wheels. So that's going to take up my time there. So I'm not going to waste any more time with trying to get it to get the machine to do it. And I'll have time on other projects in the future because I plan to make more sets of wheels so I can get this right next time also. So for now we're just going to spend a little bit of it. It's going to take more time to tap the holes, but I know how to do it. I'm not half bad at it. so I can get it done. Here's the tapping block, super simple, no nonsense. I put 8 holes in it because I figure I'll wear out a couple of them, so I've got extras. This hole is slightly too big, so I crossed it out so I remember. The back side holes are a little bit tighter than the front side holes. Take that how you will. And I mean, it should be good. The tap fits real good in all these, so yeah. Next up is going to be doing the yada yada. We'll edit that out, you know. You know. Yo, check this little guy out. That is the little tap handle that I made. This is nothing like I had originally thought I was gonna make, but I think I was laying in bed last night and I was like, you know what? That could be really cool. Making a type of little knob. Yeah. Tap. Doesn't sit perfectly straight in it, but it's just a matter of getting the screws adjusted just right. The one thing I do different is drill the holes for the screws all the way through instead of switching, like rotating it for each hole. Drill all the way through in this direction and then all the way through in that direction. That would definitely help a lot. But it does work. I did give it a test and look at that. And you can use the tapping block to kind of square up the tap a little bit if you need. Man, I'm so pleased with that little bit of machining. Mostly manual, all manual machining, just numbers and figuring things out, but super happy. Next up, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, but probably start drilling all the holes for the rings. Holes in the beadlocks have been drilled, they're ready to be tapped, and you'll notice got a little dot next to that hole on all of them. And so what that is basically is in Fusion I have had to readjust the hole depths a couple times, and when I went to select all of them and move them, it would select them all, but it would sometimes not move one of them. So I must not have caught that, and it is still deep enough to tap and put a screw in, so it will not hinder really me that much. I just have to be wary of it, and so I made sure that I know so that I don't go too deep when I'm tapping, which is, so I mean, it's kind of annoying, but I'll know for the future to check on that. But otherwise, went really well, so I'm probably going to spend the rest of the day just tapping away, sit down, listen to some music, watch some TV, and just tap, tap, tap. Okay, good morning. Time for a quick progress update on the wheels. These guys, 3 of the 4, that's the dud. 3 of the 4 have been tapped. This one hasn't, so I'll do that one a little later. And I also made the jig right here for holding the wheels for machining the outside. Come on. Focus, thank you. So it's basically got 6 pins on there, and the wheel sits down on top. Super nice, extremely tight, it barely moves at all. So that's gonna be great. Keep this registered nice and square. Also burned up an end mill because I thought it was carbide, it was high-speed steel. That's not a good mistake to make. Also the drawbar, the power drawbar broke, so I fixed it last night. I was out here for like 4 hours making that jig and then also fixing the drawbar. Oh yeah, right, forgot to show you. This, when you put this on here, there's a threaded hole down the center. Basically, I'm gonna put a bolt and a washer through there, and that's gonna basically clamp that down. This should be super rigid. And all that I really need to do now is just double check my code, and then away we'll go. Hopefully nothing will go wrong, but like, when has it ever not gone wrong, to be honest? Some pretty serious machining right there. First part of the program, the adaptive clearing, went phenomenally, did a great job. And the second part also did really well, except for the fact that it decided to go at 1.2 inches per minute instead of the appropriate, I think I said it's like 25. So that went way too slow, but that's okay. I think I'm gonna completely skip the finishing pass because you're not gonna see this outside. And also, this edge is too thin. I don't like it. I've got a feeling that's gonna cut right into your tire, and it's not gonna be happy. So, with that in mind, I'm gonna completely get rid of the finishing pass. Even though the outside won't look so great, that's okay. On future wheels, I will account for that. And on these, it'll just be a little bit special on the outside. You know what? Never mind. That outside lip is actually okay. I took a file to the burr that was on there, and the burr was actually giving me an optical illusion that it was thinner than it was. And this is perfect, dude. We have an actual freaking wheel. I'm so pumped! Yes! Yes, what a wonderful piece of aluminum you have here. A nice large chunk. How much do you want for it? Oh, wait, never mind, it's a milling machine. Anyway, you guys, that's the last one. They are done, they are ready to be bolted up. 2 tires. I have a gargantuan mess to clean up. And I can finally clean off my dad's workbench, because I've been feeling kind of guilty about just like taking up his space. So, you know, gotta clean that up, gotta clean this up. Probably clean myself up a little bit. Then we'll go inside and mount these babies up. Here we are, final step in the process of this project. This is super exciting. I've got a fresh set of RC4-wheel drive Super Swampers. Got my wheels, my rings, I've got the ring hardware, I've got the tool tips, I've got the SLW hardware, I've got all my hubs over there. I've got my SCX10, which is what this is going on, because I got to figure out which hubs will work and such. I've also got some drill bits in my drill because the holes on the wheels don't actually line up. It's a really strange thing that some of them line up, and there's a certain position that they all line up, but like one or two don't, so I may have to drill them out a little bit. My dad's theory on that is that the machine can't actually interpolate a circle properly, but I don't know. We'll see what conclusions I come to, I guess, with that. Anyway, let's get a time lapse going and some music, and I'm gonna get these mounted up. Are you guys ready? Not sure if you guys are ready for the final review. Review? Reveal. That's the word. Bam! Look at those bad boys. They look so clean and super nice with the fresh tires on there. Yeah. So, I am incredibly pleased with the outcome of this project. I had a couple hang-ups putting these together. One part of the bead on the tire, for a couple of them, was a little thicker, so it wouldn't really seat all the way in. So, note to myself for next time, make the bead grooves a little bit wider. Also, the itty-bitty hardware, the Vanquish hardware, while it's extremely nice and very high quality, I did run into an issue with the heads tearing off and breaking in the hole, basically. And the reason for that was that my recesses on the beadlock ring were actually, as I was turning it, tearing the head off. So that's a note for next time as well. Holes, had to drill them all out. I had to do some sketchy stuff, you know, it's kind of annoying. And one of those screw heads on this one, or maybe that one, or maybe one's on the other side, is actually glued in. So, you know, that is what it is. As far as the SLW hubs, they went in fantastically. They were a little bit too far out, I believe. The ones that I drilled were a little bit too far out, so for next time I'll make them a little bit closer in. But that was just because I did it with a caliper and it wasn't precise. As far as these tool tips go, fantastic. I gotta say, they're terrific. And also, props to Vanquish for actually making it so if you've got a cross wrench with a hole all the way through it, you can actually use them with the cross wrench. So you don't actually have to buy their like $70 pair of these things, which is kind of overpriced for two scale hardware drivers that you can really only use on wheels. So anyway, that's a lot of talking. So I'm pretty much ready at this point to take this thing to the Autism Awareness Crawl next weekend. I'm really looking forward to going that. I'm looking forward to meeting people and all that good stuff. Got some piano wire over there on the side. I'm going to make some new pins for my front axle shafts, just because I've been having issues with them breaking. So hopefully that will maybe fix that. So I'll do that off camera at some point, probably Thursday before I go. Let's see, what else have I got? Where'd that go? Oh yeah, completely like unrelated, but I made some business cards and I'm pretty happy with them. Figured I'd show them just because I'm proud of them. Here, let's zoom in. Zoop. There you go. That's my business card. Basically, my point in making those was because I often meet people out on the trail that say, "Oh, I'll go check out your channel after the crawl or whatever," and you know, everyone's always having such a good time that, you know, if it was me, I would definitely forget. So I made those to help remind people. I mean, not like any of you guys will need reminding because you're already here, but for the new people, gotta have some of that. And that may or may not be a sneak peek for the next big project. Hint, hint, it might be. Ha! Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tagging along with this project. It's definitely been a rough one. Well, it's been a great one. It's been a great project. It definitely had some rough spots. Thank you for sticking along. Thank you for all the nice comments on the last video. I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be excited to see this. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be super stoked with the new wheels. They're growing on me. You know that phase when you finish a project and it's like, you see everything wrong with it, and it's like, ugh, man, just, you know, it's kind of annoying. But they're growing on me. They're definitely growing on me, because you literally can't even tell that I had to drill those holes out twice. Ugh, enough of my nonsense. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Please leave a like, hit that subscribe button, comment down below if you're excited for our next project that'll be coming up here in a couple weeks. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, support me on Patreon, join the Discord server because I have been posting pictures while I've been making these, like before this video comes out. So if you want to get like behind the scenes photos of projects I'm working on, make sure you hit up the Discord. And what was the other one? Nope, that was it. Okay, cool. Anyway, with that, see you guys in the next one.